Easter has nothing to do with the resurrection of Christ, but is an ancient pagan holiday in honor of the Babylonian deity ISHTAR, also pronounced Easter or ISHTAR. Easter actually predates the birth of Christ by thousands of years. ISHTAR is a Babylonian goddess of sex and fertility, which is why the two things that symbolize this goddess are eggs and rabbits, which represent sex, pregnancy, and fertility. I mean, think about it. What do eggs and rabbits have to do with the resurrection of a biblical Hebrew that kept the Sabbath and Passover? Nothing, but they have everything to do with the Babylonian goddess Ishtar. See, you can't change the origin or foundation of a thing, which is what Constantine tried to do by adopting several ancient pagan rituals and festivals into Christianity. Christianity, in and of itself, being a mostly pagan blend of Bible and paganism. As you can see all over the statue, the goddess Ishtar is covered in eggs and rabbits, symbolizing her being the goddess of sex and fertility. These eggs and rabbits have nothing to do with the resurrection of God's one and only Son. Ishtar was an important deity in early civilizations throughout the Near Eastern area of Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq, Iran, Syria, Kuwait, and Turkey, particularly during the 4th and 3rd century BCE. Many temples of worship were built in her honor, and some ruins are still around today. She was a complex deity with multiple roles, and she made an appearance in some of the most historically significant early myths, the most famous of these being the Babylonian Epic of Gilgamesh. Ishtar holds a special historical significance, as she is the earliest goddess in written evidence. Early Mesopotamians called her Inanna, as seen in the now extinct language of cuneiform writing, the primary form of communication in the ancient Near East. They date back to the late Uruk period of Sumer in southern Mesopotamia, from around the 5th century BCE, a period we might call the very dawn of history. In later centuries, the Akkadians, Babylonians, and Assyrians called her Ishtar. Ishtar was the very first goddess of love. Mesopotamians described her in her many myths and poems as young and strikingly beautiful, with piercing and penetrating eyes. Mesopotamian civilizations worship Ishtar in ancient marriage and fertility rituals. So when you and your children are celebrating Easter, you're not commemorating the resurrection of God's one and only Son, but you're paying homage to the Babylonian goddess of sex and fertility. And while in modern times, Easter entails Easter dinner with family and Easter egg hunts, the ancient Babylonians honored Ishtar not so differently, with feasts of gluttonous portions serving food that had been sacrificed and dedicated unto demons. And in the place of Easter egg hunts, they would practice child sacrifice and proceed to dip the eggs in the blood of the unalive children as an offering to Ishtar for beauty, fertility, and prosperity. And what Christians call Easter, thousands of years ago, the inventors of the holiday worshipped their goddess Ishtar in the temples dedicated to her through child sacrifice and perverse sexual rituals, including incest, orgies, sex magic, pedophilia, ritualistic rape, and bestiality. This is the true meaning and origin of Easter, not the resurrection of Christ.